What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about nails. So if you did not know, for the last, I would say 2 years, on and off, I've been applying press-on nails as just a go-to. I like to have my nails look a little bit finished, and press-on nails are affordable. You can do them at home, and you can also repurpose them and reuse them if you are at home and if you have the particular tools. So I'm going to be doing like a step-by-step on how I do my press-ons. I don't think by any means I am kind of like the end-all be-all, but this is just like a video showing you guys how I do mine. I've also done really well to kind of navigate decent brands, decent glues, all of that jazz, and I wanted to kind of just talk you guys through all of those things. I'm going to show you guys all of the products, and I'm going to have all of the products linked down below in the event that you want to know what specifically I picked up and what the specific items that I am talking about. I also actually really need to do my nails, and I wanted to go ahead and put a set on. So I will be going through an aerial shot, kind of talking you guys through what I actually am doing and the steps and all that jazz. So it's not going to just be a sit down video. You guys will be seeing me actually apply them. And this is going to be my routine for what I do to keep my nails on for at minimum 2 weeks. I've really narrowed it down, and I think I've really gotten it down to a science. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's just dive on in. Okay, so for me, one of the biggest things that I really enjoy, I try to keep as somewhat organized as I possibly can. I repurpose this little makeup bag to hold pretty much all of the tools that I need for my press-ons. So I definitely recommend, if you are somebody like me that likes to have kind of somewhat organization, for you to be able to do that, especially if you're on my channel, because I know you have makeup bags, right? We all got makeup bags on makeup bags. One of the tools that really helped me to elevate my press-on game is this little machine gun for, filing down your nails. Now I have this little gun. You do have to plug it in, and it also came with all of these random heads, and then I have different kind of Brillo pad rolls, and I also have a whole bag of extra rolls. I still have yet to actually go through, I think, even one roll. This one probably I could go ahead and throw away, but honestly it still works, so we gonna keep her on. This has been the best tool, I think, out of anything that I'm gonna talk about. If you're somebody who you already have a style of nails that you like, you already have a brand that you like because it really fits your nail bed, highly recommend you go ahead and get one of these tools. It's not all that expensive. I believe I got mine from Amazon for maybe $20. I threw it in a cart just hoping that it would be helpful, and it truly has. This is one of the first things that I do once I've already got my nails cleaned of polish. Like for right now, I actually have normal nail polish on, so I'll be using, in case you guys care, I love to always have 100% acetone available. Depending on how I do my nails, this is just the only thing that works, especially if I do not gel, but the other version, that's the dip. If I do dip, this is what I need. So I always go ahead and make sure I have this. And of course I always have cotton balls. Nothing brand new here, right? I'm sure you have those, but I just wanted to make it clear that is my actual very first step. I clean off my nail beds. That also helps to dry the cuticles, which can be helpful. I've not found personally that having super dry cuticles is like a make or break for me, but for some people it is, so I do just want to make that known. The thing that's been a make or break for me is the actual gun. Like I said, I'll be showing you guys step by step what's going on, but I kind of want to give you guys some information behind the scenes prior to doing that aerial shot where you see me actually doing my nails, which, like I said, I need to do them today. So this gun is really helpful because I can do different rotations. So because it spins both forward and back, there's a little button where I can tell it which way I want to spin. Depending on which hand I'm doing, sometimes I will change it just because it's easier. I know some people say go with the groove of your nail bed and all of that jazz, and I'm sure that makes more sense. That's healthier for your nails. For me, your girl just wants to sand my nails, so I don't really pay attention to that, but I do pay attention to the little dial where you can do the speed. I tend to have my speed at the very lowest because I find I already put enough pressure naturally when I'm sanding so that if it's too fast, it will actually really hurt my nails. That said, I do have a weirdly high pain tolerance, so some people that actually hurts. I know I've used the machine on my mom and she did not appreciate it. So don't be discouraged if it's something that like it hurts. Maybe only do it when you absolutely need it in the only spots that you need it. But I will show you guys, of course, like I said, my routine. I'm going to stop referencing that. We're just going to keep talking about all of the products. This kit came with the machine, so if the link down below is not one that you want to use or whatever, I would just highly recommend getting a nail gun that already comes with the kit, and then it wouldn't hurt to have extra beds. Let me see if I can find that bag. Yeah, so mine came with extra heads as well. So I think at minimum, try to find a machine on Amazon, or if you're into beauty supply, or if you are a professional makeup artist, I'm sure you have access to like those professional sites. Try one of those because that's really, really helpful. Something I don't use very often, but I think is always helpful, is just a normal kind of Brillo pad, or what's it called? Nail file. I like it. This one has 2 different grains. It's helpful, not a necessity, but it can be helpful. And then of course, the other thing that I want to talk about is the glue. Now, as of right now, this is the only glue that I currently have. I actually went through my other glue. The first glue I want to talk about, because I don't have it and I want to make sure I mention it, is Glamnetics. Glamnetics has a glue that is brush on. I prefer the brush on glues, and I would highly recommend, if your nails that you do press ons pop off very quickly, 9 times out of 10 you're using the glue that's in the packaging. I would never recommend that unless you want your nails to not last for a long period of time. If you want them to last for a long period of time, you really do have to kind of invest in a different glue. So first, like I said, I would recommend this Glamnetics brush on glue. Absolutely loved it. It's really, really nice. If you're somebody, let me just get everything from Amazon, and I'm not positive that the Glamnetic glue is available on Amazon. I'm sure it is. I just don't buy it there. I buy it from Ulta. The one that I found on Amazon that's actually really good is this Cala Super Glue. It took me a while to find just a 1-pack. So if you're somebody like me who doesn't want to just buy like 4 or 5 packs of this glue, you know, take some time out. Like I said, try to link all of the stuff that I specifically bought from the sellers I bought down below. But now that I've tried it and I actually do enjoy it, I could see me actually going ahead and just getting the multi-pack. That said, if you're somebody that you only want your glue and your nails to last maybe a week and not 2 weeks or even more, I would lean towards the Glamnetics. It's a very good glue, but it's not as kind of foolproof as this Cala glue is. This Cala glue, you're going to be fighting to get those nails off if you try to get them off anywhere before a week. So definitely keep that in mind. The last kind of tool item I want to talk about before I get into the different types of nails that I have used, I want to go ahead and talk about this. And this is the Glamnetic press on nail remover. This has actually been super helpful. So I find every time I am ready to remove my nails, because either the nail polish is chipping or I'm just over it, my pinky nails are the ones that want to be survivors. Okay, they refuse to come off of my nails, and so this has been super helpful. Instead of just like ripping off a layer of my nail, I can just kind of ply up the nail, the fake nail, and you just put a couple of dollops of this under, give it some time to kind of start to break down the glue. And I find that it really does. Now, it's not foolproof, right? There's still been times where I've used this where I still feel like I'm pulling off layers of my nail. But that said, this has been helpful. And so once again, similar to the machine, the gun machine, I would recommend, maybe I shouldn't say gun machine for YouTube reasons. Similar to the nail machine, I would go ahead and recommend this as well. It's been super, super helpful. I've only found it on the Glamnetics site, but that's because I went and splurged on Glamnetics nails like last month. So I will try to link it wherever I can find it, but I will say Glamnetics does do a lot of sales. So it may be helpful if that is a brand that you like their nails, to check out their site. Continuing on, one of the first things that I did when I was starting to get into press-ons is I got this set. So this is a set of pre-filed nail tips where you can basically take a clear nail, and I'll just take an example. You can take a clear nail off of this kind of thing, and you just glue it onto your nail. Although I really loved this type of product because then I was able to get use out of my actual nail polishes, and I was able to do designs if I felt really gumptious enough to do so. My biggest con of this particular kind of set and this type of set is that I had to literally file down the nail beds in almost all of the instances, or cut them because they were too wide for my nail beds. That said, I did pick a very limited set, and I did tell it that I wanted large. Now I know, I guess my nail beds are not necessarily large. I could have returned it, blah, 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 blah. That said, you can also get the like more professional looking sets where you get like the whole kit and you get all the different sizes. But the issue that I find with that type of thing is that if you're only doing your nails, what are you going to do with the nail sizes that don't work for you? So I haven't really found a perfect kind of situation when it comes to this, where I have a clear nail tip that I can use my actual nail polishes for. So if you have one, I would love to hear so down below. But I also wanted to go ahead and talk about some of those like pre-created press-ons that we know and love. So the one brand from Amazon, I can't distinctly remember, and I only bought one pack, so I will go ahead and have that a picture of the set that I have on the screen right now. This was actually a really good set. Once again, very similar to the Kala Super Glue. I felt like this was actually a pretty formidable set. The nails were sturdy and they lasted for a decent amount of time. I actually have them still, and I'll show you kind of how I store my press-ons for like preparation for potentially using in the future. But this was actually a really good set. I will say it did chip a little bit towards the end, but I would say out of all of the nail sets that I've had, these actually lasted, I would say, the longest. And I did use these in combination with both the Kala Super Glue nail glue and then also with the Glamnetic nail glue. But I really loved these nails, so I would recommend them. I've been meaning to pick up another set. If we're being honest, I just forget to put it in the cart. Another thing I will say is they don't really come out with a lot of like designs from what I can tell. They're like more basic designs. So keep that in mind. I like to have nails that like really celebrate the seasons. So a really popular brand is of course Kiss Nails. Now their designs I think are absolutely stunning. They really have cute designs. I just pulled this one out of my collection. Absolutely love them. They have really range of lengths, so you can get, you know, extra long, medium, and short nails. So I really appreciate that from Kiss. I have two cons when it comes to actual Kiss nails. One, they do not last. They are so flimsy in my opinion, and they just are not sturdy enough. To last long term on my nails. I am not somebody who is very nice to my nails. I'm very rough, very hard. I do a lot of plant stuff, so I'm digging in the plant soil and all of that jazz with my bare nails. And so a lot of nails just can't survive my weeks. They really can't, especially with my actual job. They cannot survive. So for me, as much as I love Kiss Nails, I don't intend to really ever pick up any more from them because they are just extremely, extremely flimsy. There's actually another brand I have. I just thought about it. So another brand that I'm not a huge fan of is Impress Color. Now Impress Color, they do a lot of these like pre-colored and then also pre-glue on the back nails. these are not a preference for me. Do not like when they say they have the glue on the back, because I find that that glue is absolutely terrible. Very similar to the glue that you see inside of the kits. So I would definitely say stay away. I plan to use these because a friend gave them to me, but not a friend, not a fan at all. My two favorite nail brands, like I said, is that Amazon brand and then Glamnetics. Glamnetics, I feel like she's that girl. If you are into pressed nails, you know she is that girl. She has a wide range of colors, wide range of designs. They're quite, I don't want to say they're affordable, because affordable is a very kind of subjective term, but they are extremely sturdy. And I think for the sturdiness, for the length of time that you can wear them, and for the fact that they are reusable, I think they are cost effective. That's what I will say. This is what their new packaging looks like. It's quite slender. You get minimum product. You only get the actual nails, and you get like a file. You don't even get the glue anymore, which is perfect. I mean, honestly, let's face it. But this is what the old packaging looks like. It's a lot more wider, and you do get all the glue and everything that is truly unnecessary. So for me, absolutely would highly recommend Glamnetics. I don't actually know which design I'm going to be doing this week, but you guys will see in just a second. The last thing I want to show you guys is the fact that I do have a organizer like this. For me, this is how I organize all of the press-ons that I've had in the past that I did not actually damage the nails enough that I felt like I could actually use them at least the second time. I'm seeing that there's actually a Christmas set in there, and I don't think I have a Christmas set. So that might be the nails that I actually apply, and I'll show you guys how I repurpose the nails and how I prep them to go on my on my actual nails. But that said, I definitely think that if you're somebody like me who gets a lot of use out of press-ons, keeping them and reusing them, once again, is really just cost effective, and it's just a little bit more environmentally sound. I do tend to specifically try to only keep the sizes that work for my nails, so that I don't have to dig through all of them again. I didn't for some of them I kept multiple sizes, but regardless, I think it's smart if you just keep the sizes that you need. That way you know what you're going to be putting on your nails. I think that's all for this kind of intro. Like I said, everything will be listed and linked down below. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Could you use cuticle oils and all that? Yes. If you're into doing them, you already have them. I'm not a huge fan of them. It's just too much work. I cannot be bothered. I do put lotion on my hands very often though, so I kind of do it in a different way. But yeah, let's just go ahead and cut to the aerial shot, and I'll show you guys how I apply them. One thing I will say is, if you are going to put on press nails, I would recommend putting them on towards the end of your night. That way there's very little times that you're going to be washing your hands, and so the glue really has a lot of time to really align with your nail and the press on nail. I find that the later I do my nails and the closer to bedtime I do my nails, the more long lasting they are. So those are all my tips. Those are all the products that I use, all of that jazz. Let's just dive into Blake from the future doing my nails, because I cannot wait. And now that I have Christmas nails, girl, you ain't gonna touch me. I'm so excited. Alrighty guys, so very similar to how I said in the intro of this video, I did go ahead and just take off the color that I had remaining on my nails. They just had to go. And the reason I didn't show that is because I felt like that was kind of really self-explanatory. So just make sure that your nails are somewhat clean and fresh. Now we're just going to jump in. As I said in the intro, I'd highly recommend you do your press-ons towards the end of your night. That way your press-ons have hours to really adhere to your nails via the glue. I'm not doing that mainly because I was really tired yesterday and I just did not have the energy, but we're going to get them done today and I'm really excited. So first things first that I like to do in this little kit, I already have one kind of, one bit attached to the head that I like to use. I'll show you guys the head without the bit in just a second. So this is the head, and it just, the bit easily slides on. This is the rougher of the two, and I'll show you guys kind of clean ones so that you can really get that impression. So this is the more, let me come in close. So this is the more rough bit on my right, and on my left is the smoother bit. I do use both, although I do tend to kind of mainly use that rougher bit. So yeah, what I'm gonna do, what I like to do, depending on the day, I'll just go straight in with this rough bit, and I'll take these off so that this doesn't get in the way and you can really focus on what I'm doing. So any given day, like I said, all of these are directions for the actual head. So I'll go ahead and turn it on. So as you can see, it's turned on. I don't know if you'll be able to hear. My mic is actually closer to the gun or the nail gun than me, so we'll see. I'll call it nail machine because, like I said, I don't know if YouTube is going to freak out about it. And then, like I said, this controls the speed. I'm sure you guys can hear it now. And then you can like lower the speed as well. So I like to go at the lowest speed, and I usually try to keep it, I think it's on this rotation. I'll tell when I apply it onto my nail, and I will show you guys one hand and then I'll just fast forward to the other hand because it's pretty much the same exact thing. For this time, I will go ahead and do the rougher bit first. Let me just turn this off for now. I'm gonna do this bit first, just mainly because it's been a while since I've done press-ons, and I really want the nails to have some form of texture and grip so that that glue can really adhere. And that's the main thing that I think this machine kind of adds beneficial wise when I do my press-ons, is that it really gets the nail bed to really have some grit. I'm sure you could do this with the kind of more manual version like this. I just don't have the patience or the time to sit here for a long period of time to do that. So let me go ahead and turn this on and get to going. And basically what I like to do is to just go along the nail. Like I said, really buff out that nail all throughout the cuticle and the tip, so that the nail begins to look like that. Hopefully my camera will focus eventually. Let me see. And you see how it's very scuffed up, very kind of rough. That's how I want all of my nails to look in this first kind of step. All right, so that is that first hand buffed with the original, or kind of the rougher of the two bits. Now I do like to go ahead and kind of soften it just a tinge. And I'll go in with the softer of the two, or the less abrasive of the two bits, and do the exact same thing. All right, so as you can see, my fingernails are completely buffed and ready to go. as I said, there are additional bits here that I guess you could use, or kind of applications here. I really don't use them. Sometimes I'll use the pointy one and this smoother one if I have a lot going on with my cuticle area. So I'll use these two. Otherwise, I really don't use any of these other pieces, so take that as you will, but this is pretty much what I'll do. And then what I will do when I'm finally ready to actually apply my nails is I'll go back in with the buffer of the two, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do my other hand really quickly. Like I said, it's really this exact same thing, so no need to show you guys, or maybe I'll just fast forward, it just kind of depends. But yeah, I'm gonna get this right hand done real quick. Alrighty, so now both of my nails are pretty much at the same step. I think I forgot to say, so I will say, usually the only reason I'll go in with the rougher of the two kind of brittle pads, or whatever you want to call these, because I've changed the name every 2 seconds. The only time I'll go with this the first time is because I haven't put on press nail nails for a while. Otherwise, I'll actually do the softer one first and then go in with the harder one once, because I don't feel like my nails need too much more texture, because they've already kind of got a decent amount of texture. But when I've gone through a period without nails for a decent amount of time, I find that I really need to kind of create that texture again. So that's why I do them the rougher of the two twice. And I will just go ahead and keep this, actually both of this stuff to the side. Now it's time to prep the nails. So as I told you guys in the intro, I found some new or some older press-ons in here that I could use. This is right around Christmas time, which is why I'm using them, and it looks like I have quite a few actual designs in here that I did not realize. So I have this white design which looks like it has, okay, that's normal glue. Okay, I was concerned that it had like that, like, oh, it does. It has that sticker glue on there. I might be able to drill that off. I don't really know. But this is the design. I'm pretty sure this is a kiss design. So the actual nails aren't the best. So we might not use those for this look. This is another one. This feels like a kiss design as well. Very thin nail. And it has black, but it also has some accents as well. We'll see. Let me see about this one. This one could be Glamnetics. There was another one that I saw from the back, but I think honestly a lot of these are Kiss nails. So I really need to go through these because the Kiss nails really don't last a long time. But I think I might do this set, because this set isn't too long, and although it is kind of festive, it also is more wintry and just like more general, which will work out perfectly. So I could potentially keep these until my birthday, which my birthday is coming up. So let me just go ahead, and actually it doesn't even look like I've used these. So yeah, let me see what I can do with this set. All right, so first thing I like to do is, of course, figure out which sizes work for me. Hopefully I can find sizes that work for me. Otherwise, I'm gonna just have to chuck this whole set. That looks a little big. Oh, that's because it's two different nails. Okay, so there's one. Make sure this is the same nail. Yeah, okay. And when I'm sizing my nails, sorry, what I like to do is take a nail that I think might work and put it right near my cuticle bed. And as you can see, it's pretty much aligned there, and it's pretty much aligned there. There's a little bit of hang off. I think what I ended up doing was trashing the nails that I actually wore in this set, but just taking any extra nails. And so these are the extra nails, I do believe, just based on what I see here. But regardless, what I like to do is that, and I will just continue to do that, and I will size up and kind of place out all of the appropriate nails that I will be using. And that just helps me to be prepared for when I'm actually doing my set. Because I do like to buff them all in a certain order, etc. So like this is another good match right here. Let me show you guys if the camera wants to focus. So you can see it's pretty aligned on that side, and it's a little off on that side, but these are press-ons, so you're not going to get like the best fit in the grand scheme of things. So what I like to do is try to find the exact same fit if possible. This looks a little big, but I think that's the only option that I have. Yeah, so it's going to be a little small on one side and a little big on the other. Oh, maybe this one. That one's big too. So yeah, it is what it is. That's all good. Now let's see if these are too small. Those are too small for my pinky. I already have that. This could be a first finger. Let's see. That looks good. That looks bad. It isn't, I mean, it doesn't look bad. I'm sorry. I will trim my actual nail so that it fits a little bit better. This looks a little big. That looks good for that second finger. So maybe we'll take this off and we'll see if we can get another second finger. Yeah. Okay. So thumb, second, third are already established. Let's see. So this looks small enough for a pinky, but I don't see another small pinky. So that's a pinky. Maybe this? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to do that. So it's gonna be mismatching nails this time. So I am missing what, my first fingers. Those are the fingers that I need. So let's see if we can figure something out. That's way too big. That's quite small. Too big. Too big. That's a little small, but it might have to work. Ooh, that's way too small for that nail. The other issue is that if you have certain nails that are too big and certain nails that are too small, it really does show up when you put the whole set on. So do keep that in mind. If you're gonna go really small, it's better to go small on all the nails and not some of the nails. Yeah, that's small. So this is supposed to be a pinky, basically, from what I can tell now. Okay, so let me see what's the least offensive one for this finger. It's gonna be this one. It's gonna be that one. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna trash all of these extra nails because now we see they don't work, and I feel like I've gotten a good amount of use out of this set so far. I am gonna switch to the least offensive Brillo, whatever, of the two. And what I like to do is actually not only get a grip on the back of my nail or on the top of my nail, but actually the back of the fake nail as well. Once again, just making sure that I get a good grip between the two products. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a light kind of run between the two. When I do this run, I like to make sure I focus the product or the run on the bottom of the nail, because that's the part that's actually going to touch my nail bed. And I just keep them in order as best as possible. When you get to the smaller sizes towards the end of my fingers, you know, with the pinky and all such, it does get a little hard with this nail tool, but I just do my best just to get some form of grip on the back of the nail. And you know you're getting grip when you see the dust, because the dust is, you know, pieces of the actual nail kind of filing down. That's what I could have called this. I could have called this an electric filer the whole time. You live and you learn. Okay, so there's that. And then for the pinky, I usually will try to go like that, but it usually messes up the sides. So I usually end up doing like this weird side thing. Never really works, but you know, do what you can. And then, you know, repeating the same steps on the other hand. Another thing that I will say is that I do not use the roughest Brillo or the roughest kind of tool on this one when I'm doing the actual press on nails, because I find that when I've done that, because of the amount of pressure that I naturally just use to start using this product and kind of breaking it up, I can actually mess up the sides of the nail, and then it looks crazy when I put it on my actual nails. So I really like to use this softer one in the event that I do kind of touch a spot that I don't want to touch. It just doesn't look as offensive when I'm actually putting them on. And then, like I said, I usually tend to just go to the side once we get to this part. All right. Let me turn this off. There we go. Okay, so all the nails are done. My nails are somewhat prepped, not fully in my opinion. So now what am I gonna do? Now I'm gonna take the rougher Brillo, and now I'm gonna put it on my nails again, just to get a really good part. I tend to focus on the tip and the base. If I don't get the middle, it's not a big deal. And it's really not a big deal to get as precise as I did before. Now it's just getting just a final, I don't know, a final check to make sure there's enough grip for that glue to really adhere and for those nails to really adhere. So as you can see, I really didn't put a much effort into that. I just really whizzed through it in natural time. So now it's time for the glue. Like I said, the only glue I currently have is this Kala, so that's the one that I'm going to be using. I do prefer the Glamnetics just for the application, but this is a really good glue, like I said before, and it's probably the best glue that I've found thus far for long-term longevity. So when applying the actual nails, I put one dot in the middle of my nail and one dot on the middle of the fake nail. Then I take the fake nail and I press it onto my nail. The goal is to press evenly enough so that the glue spaces out fully, so that all of the areas in which the nail and your nail touch really start to begin to adhere. I will say a pet peeve of mine that I do find with these Kiss nails is that because the nail is so clear, I'll see if I can get it to show up. There is a little bit of that residue that you saw that I created to get that texture between the two. It does show up. That's a pet peeve of mine, but like, I'm sure nobody else sees it. I've never heard somebody, you know, ew, I can see this texture that's on your nail or something like that. Either people like the nails and they compliment them, or they don't really say anything. So It's quite an easy process. It's just all about the prep and the choosing of the nails, truly. And like I said, just really take the time to really add some pressure to make sure that the nail is starting to really adhere to your nail nicely. Otherwise, it can be a bit where you find that your nail pops off really early. Same with, like I said before, if you do the nails in between in the middle of your day, where especially if you wash your hands a lot, depending on your environment or whatever you do for work or whatever it is, that can also lead to your nails popping off earlier if you don't give that glue enough time. Because at the end of the day, the glue is going to go away because of that moisture that you allow under the nail bed or between the nail bed and the nail. So really just taking the time to press in all of the zones, and I can physically feel those nails adhering. And so once I do, I can just move on to the next. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. I got another phone call, which is so unlike me. And so I just kind of stopped talking and just did the other hand. But what I will say is that they feel nice and secure, and I do like them. I'm just going to come in close with one hand at a time so that hopefully my camera can focus. It looks quite nice. And like I said, I would always recommend not washing your hands for a little while. But I can tell based on just a couple of different things for these nails that these are definitely kiss nails. So if the nails actually go ahead and break off and or chip or lose some of the color, I know that's why. But because these are kiss, I am going to do one final step. I know this has been unnecessarily long, but this is kind of the steps that I take. I usually don't take this long though. I get them done pretty quick, and I usually will just put a movie on. So even if I do take this long, I don't realize because, I'm enjoying the movie or the TV show or whatever. But there is an aspect of kiss nails. Let me see if I can get this camera to focus. At the very tip, you can see that random additional piece of nail that is just extra. Kiss nails pretty much always have that on there, so I like to kind of file it down. I take the softer of the two pads and I just kind of file at the top. So I'm just going to go through and do that. Some are more pronounced than others, but I just like to kind of do that once and just feel a little bit more happy about it. So So that's it. This is pretty much the final look. Of course, I will add some lotion because I do feel like my hands are a tinge bit ashy and all of that jazz. But these are the steps that I take. Once again, just highlighting the really essential items that I find you really should potentially invest in if you want to do press-ons long term in your house. I would definitely recommend this tool. And with this particular tool, I got this little kit and those additional bits that I have not even honestly looked at as of yet. I've really been focusing on this, and I've had this for quite some time. I also would recommend a really good nail glue. Really important, these two kind of things. The other things that I recommended, like I said, I think are helpful. Even the nail glue remover, I think is just helpful. I don't think that that is necessary for application, but if you want an easier removal and a less painful removal in some cases, I would recommend that product. So yeah, that's it. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please go ahead and shout them out down below for me, because I will of course do my absolute best to answer your comments. I know, like I said, my comment answering has been a little sketchy lately, but just let me know down below any questions or concerns, and I will do my best to get back to you guys. But with that said, I'm going to actually run off. I need to edit this video, hopefully get it up, and I need to finish cooking for my week. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.